The first one I think I want to look at that everybody has been asking about today is Roadmap Roundup. Roadmap Roundup. So let's take a look at that. All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Every 2 weeks, we do the roadmap. Okay. Notable changes for November 3rd, 2021. Salvage. As previously announced on September 8th Roadmap Roundup, the core gameplay pillar has shifted their focus to deliver features initially for Squadron 42 before then moving to integrate them into the permanent persistent universe. This has a twofold benefit. Squadron 42 will benefit greatly from the additional resources and dedicated focus, and the persistent universe will see features come online in a more complete and polished state. The core gameplay teams have recalibrated their schedules after the project focus transition and are now planning to complete their work on Salvage for Squadron 42 in Q1 2022. To allow enough time to implement this into the feature set in the persistent universe, Salvage is now targeting a Q2 22 release. So that's 318. Okay. However, you may notice that it was renamed from Salvage Tier 0 Tech to Salvage Tier 0. This is to better represent the expanded gameplay releasing with Salvage's debut. More specifically, the initial release is no longer just the back-end tech implementation, but will introduce both hand-operated salvage as well as ship-operated salvage. And this is specifically only hull stripping and repair, using the systems on board the Drake Vulture. So that probably doesn't mean the Reclaimer, a ship that's been in game for literally years, will have zero functionality still. But the repair part does seem interesting, because repair is just the opposite of salvage on the surface of a ship. Okay? My opinions here are this. If salvage is not coming online with... I'll make this a little bigger. If salvage is not coming online with physicalized components, why are we even bothering? Where is salvage needed for Squadron 42? I know it's like part of the cutscenes, but like we've seen the Reclaimer doing stuff. But Tier 0 is not what anybody needs for salvage. Hull stripping is not salvage. It's hull stripping. So, in my opinion, the amount of time it takes, I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care about Salvage Tier 0, and I don't think a lot of people are, because it doesn't take away... It doesn't add to the game in any way, shape, or form. It does, but it doesn't significantly. So, looting players and looting NPCs, for me, was like a massive feature addition. And if you're not looting ships of their internals and stuff, it's not really salvage, and it's not really a big thing. So for me, I look at this and I go, whatever, I don't care, because it's not what I'm looking for out of salvage. So that's just my opinion on it. Is the hull stripping thing, I always thought was uninteresting. It's like mining in a way. Like, are we just going to be mining everything with lasers? And it's just meh. And not what I expect out of the best damn space sim ever kind of game. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about the salvage thing. It is what it is. And delaying a crappy version of salvage to make it a slightly less crappy version of salvage, okay, cool. That's how I feel about that. Then release view. The following cards have been added to release view. Derelict spaceships. Points of interest that will be scattered on planets. There will be derelict spaceships with some type of activity, puzzle, traversal, hostile AI, and some type of reward for resolving said activity. This card has been added to the Alpha 316 release window. That's kind of cool. So personally, I think that that's kind of neat. It's like bunker missions in a way, but some variety as well as rewards, probably loot as well. Mining gadgets. We all know how I feel about mining gadgets. Mining gadgets will help to modify the rock and assist the player with mining a deposit. The player can attach the device physically to a mineable deposit in FPS to modify its stats, making mining either easier and safer or quicker and riskier. This card has been added to the Alpha 316 release window. It's more of the same for mining. Okay, guys, we have mining lasers that make things quicker and easier, or easier and safer, and riskier. Quicker and riskier. There is, what are they called? Consumables or mining attachments that do the same thing. Now we're doing mining FPS modules that do the same thing. But nothing has changed with the amount of rocks that we mine, how big they are, or what sort of modifiers the rocks might have on them. So this is all still super pointless, and I don't understand what their long-term goal is for mining with what they're doing here, because mining has largely, in my opinion, become extremely uninteresting. And it's like my first love in Star Citizen. But all the metas are the same. It's take out a certain laser, put a certain subcomponents on, and you can literally mine everything. The Argo mole has no purpose in the game because there isn't a reason to have additional cargo, and there isn't a reason to have extra people using the mining lasers because it's just too easy to use. And if we're adding more and more things to make it easier, they just don't get it. And when I see this, I would love, absolutely love to pick Dan Treffin's mind. I would love to have it just to sit down and talk with him and go, what's going on here? What's the long-term plan? I feel like I know that they understand game development and the game way more than I do. So I would love to know like what the long-term plan is, because something's missing there. Ship-to-ship refueling. Implementing the systems that will allow players flying specific ships to refuel other ships and get paid for it. The player can fill those specific ships' fuel tanks from a station using an updated rearm, restock, refuel interface at landing zones and space stations. This card has been added to the Alpha 316 release window. That's kind of cool. That's pretty neat. So, do we know? It just says refuel. We don't know if that includes quantum fuel or just hydrogen fuel, so that would be interesting to know. So as we find out more about it, I'm sure we'll learn more about it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Quantum fuel, important. Hydrogen refuel, important, but I feel like we refuel our quantum more often. But maybe I don't fly ships that much, and I kind of just like get to a location and leave, so you guys can maybe clue me in a little bit more on that one. Updates to Dying Star map. I already fell asleep trying to read this. It doesn't matter unless we're updating the actual gameplay of Arena Commander, and at the moment, I don't think it matters. But, again, maybe I just don't know. I don't play Arena Commander that much, but it just doesn't mean anything to me. But that'll be in 316 as well. Gravlev physics rework. I thought we already did this. A significant rework to the flight and driving model for Gravlev vehicles when hovering. The aim is to improve the general field stability and resulting in a far better experience for players using hover bikes. This card has been added to the Alpha 316 release window. Something I'm sure we'll see on ISC. So looking forward to hearing what they did with that. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like. Still no real use case for Gravlev vehicles in the game, though. So trying to think of a use case of where this would matter and why we need this. Thank you, Narek, for your 33 months. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. DNA head textures update. Implementing the art and updates for DNA archetype heads that will improve the quality of all DNA heads, both for players and common NPCs. This card has been added to the Alpha 316 window, so more customization, but I think that'll be useful sometime in the future, because I don't know about you guys, I just go with the default guy for right now, because we have to reset our characters so much, it just doesn't really matter. Selling items to shops. Players will have the ability to sell items from their local inventory to shops using a new interface powered by building blocks. This supports the recently added loot generation feature, allowing these items to be sold for money. This card has been added to the 317 release window. Is this a fancy way of saying it's been delayed from 316? Wasn't this something that was for 316? Did they just like sneakily try to say it hasn't been pushed? it got added to the 317 release window, but not mentioning that it got removed from 316. But okay. Interesting. Because this was, I believe, planned for 316. So, bit of a bummer that it's going to next year, I would say. And how I would say that, why I would say it's a bummer, like for me, take the time you need, polish everything. Because we see they needed time in polishing for loot and loot generation, and it's still really bad. So the more time they take for me and the more polished it is when we get it, the better. But it was my understanding that like the order of operations here would be inventory, looting, selling, and then pulling items out of shops and providing like some reputation for those things. Like it's been mentioned multiple times by developers in my Twitch chat that reputation will be a thing for shops. It's been mentioned in the reputation section of discussions at times that there will be reputations in the shops, but selling needs to be a thing first. So that kind of sucks. NPC taxi missions tier 0. NPCs will request transport between rest stops in this mission type, with the rewards determined by speed, safety, and comfort in which the player delivers the NPC to their destination. This card has been added to the 317 release window. Okay. Speed is obvious. Safety is interesting, because our NPC is going to get attacked. I don't know. Comfort is the one I don't quite get, because the game knows how you're flying. So if you're flying and pushing a lot of G's, is that what they mean by comfort? Or is by comfort what they mean by 890 jump, 600 I, 100 I, 300, you know, those kind of things, right? Maybe. Comfort probably means Connie Phoenix, yeah, stuff like that, right? Drake Vulture. Building, balancing, and implementing Drake Enterprise's light salvage ship. The Vulture into the game. This card has been added to the 318 release window. I think that's pretty obvious based on what we saw with Salvage. Due to both the aforementioned recalibration of the gameplay schedule as well as the prioritization of the above added features, these cards are being removed from release view until they've been properly rescheduled. Origin 50 engine swapping has been pushed forever, because who cares? Dynamic door alignment, not sure what that meant. Player slide, who cares? Prone, who cares? Physicalized weapon handling, I don't know what that means necessarily, but the way weapons move in and out of our character right now is terrible. I would love to know when that comes back, and hopefully that does get prioritized at some point. Ship shield emitters. What does that mean? Because I had a weird experience, and I'll look at you guys' chat for this one. I had a weird experience yesterday where I came across two players. They were in a Retaliator. They came down their Retaliator elevator. I shot at them. I was using laser weapons, so the shields blocked it. They were using ballistic weapons. They shot back at me and killed me. So is that what that means? Ship emitters physicalize things that emit shields that can get destroyed? I don't think that's what that means. I think it might mean, like, the amount of shields you have. Right? Oh, that might be what it means. Is right now, isn't, like, a size 1 shield one way, and a size 2 shield is another way, and a size 3 shield's another way. And then it'll start balancing it out, like, okay, this ship has 3 shields, this ship has 2 shields. That's probably what that means, but I don't know. And unfortunately, when things fall off the roadmap, you don't necessarily find out what is happening. But what we can do, before we jump into anything else, we can go development, and we can go roadmap, and we can go to the progress tracker, and it might say the details there. And we can go, that's teams. Let's go deliverables. Shield. Emitters. There it is. Converting ship shield emitters into physical objects that can be targeted and destroyed, giving the players the ability to permanently disable enemy shields. Wow, okay, that's cool. That's actually cool. Oh, you just copied it. Oh, well, whatever. It's good for when we put this on the React channel for people to see this. So that's interesting. But yeah, kind of a bummer to see that go too. But we'll have to see when it ends up falling. Looks like for now, work should end in Q1 2022, but who knows? We'll have to see. Yeah, this is them making shield holes a reality, right? So, all right, guys, that'll do it for the roadmap. Overall, kind of just like a mad roadmap update for me. I think we could take a look at release view real quick and just be like, what is even in 3.16 anymore? Let's scroll out. We have the DNA head that we saw. Everything's tentative, obviously. Area 18 hospital. Derelict ship points of interest. We saw that pop on. Shops and patrons. Oh, this is just vendor behavior. Mining gadgets. Ship refueling. Dying star map. Gravlev rework. It is light. That is a light patch. That is a light patch, dude. Woo! But the thing is, this was pretty heavy. So if making this a better experience as we go into this, I'm okay with it. And that's where I'll leave my thoughts on the roadmap. Is so long as we're delivering what came in 3.16, as well as kind of looking back at what was awesome in 3.15 and building upon that, I think it could be a fun patch. So we'll have to see.